Hey, this is Carla from the Butcher Babies.
This is George Corcoran Fisher from Cannibal Corpse.
Hey, this is Rex from Kill Devil Hill. It's Wednesday 13.
This is Daz from Devil Driving.
This is Motorist from Squad. You're listening to Rabid Noise
on Rabid Radio.
Turn it up.
And we're back on Rabid Noise on Rabid Radio. That was Gravity from Novelists, who will be releasing their debut album Souvenirs on November 6th. And joining us now from the band is bass player Nicolas Delestrade. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Fine. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, man. You guys have been together for only a couple of years, but you seem to be working your absolute asses off, and word is really starting to get around about you guys. It must be a pretty exciting time for you.
Yeah, it is. Actually, we've been a band for 2 years, and it's true that it's got really fast. Everything has been really fast, and we've, like you said, we've been working a lot for it. So we're just really happy that it's happening, and we're embracing it.
It's rare to hear that, man. You know what I mean? Like a band that's been together for 2 years that have just, it must be an absolute roller coaster. Because, you know, sometimes it takes bands like 10 years to get their foot in, but you've probably been busy in other bands prior to.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been in a band for 4 years before Novelists with Matt, the singer, and Charlie, the guitarist. So it's not as if the band was really 2 years old. We've been trying to do it for like 6 years.
It's all paying off, dude. You know, because in all the press releases and stuff says, you know, you guys started 2 years, but for you, it's probably been a long road to get there. So I know what it's like, man. Yeah. So when you released Gravity online, it had something like 100,000 views in a very short period of time. How does it feel to know something that you wrote has been, you know, heard and embraced by so many people?
Well, I personally didn't write it because that was the guitarist and the drummer. But yeah, that was really amazing. I mean, we've already had some good responding to the demos we released, but Gravity was really outstanding. It was, yeah, like you said, 100,000 in like 3 weeks or so, and we were really not expecting that. So I don't know, that was just amazing. We couldn't believe it, actually.
Oh man, I think it's going to be a hell of a lot more once this album drops. Because as I was saying before, it's brilliant, man. Well, you have of course signed with A Rising Empire, which is an imprint of Nuclear Blast. How did that come about? How did you get picked up by those guys?
Well, back in the time where we released Gravity, we wanted to release the album by ourselves, to make all the money for ourselves and avoid being on a label and stuff. And we didn't really think about being on a label. And then we had that offer coming from Nuclear Blast boss, Marcus Tiger. And I mean, I Googled, what's funny is we received an email from him. And first thing I say is, I write something like, hey, who are you? Because he didn't write something about Nuclear Blast. He just wrote something like, hey, do you want to sign with us? And I just answer, and I'm like, who are you? And then I Google it. I Google the name, and I write him again, and I'm like, okay, I should have Googled you first. I was feeling so embarrassed. But then I don't know, they just offered a deal that was really good, and it made us think maybe it's good to just really give it to the pros and concentrate on what we can do and not release it ourselves, because it's not going to make as big as of I don't know, like in terms of view and exposure, it's not going to do as good as if we sign on Nuclear Blast. So we just thought about it, and the deal was really good, so we signed directly.
In my opinion, they are the best label out there at the moment. They promote their bands so well. I thank them for exposing me to you guys, because I'm a fan now. So, you know, they really push their band. So I think that was a very smart move for you guys. Well, three of you guys were part of another band called A Call to Sincerity. Is that right?
Yep. That's right.
Prior to forming Novelists with the Duran brothers, but did you all know each other from the same scene?
Not really, actually. The brothers that write everything in Novelist weren't in the scene really before that. That's the funny part. They were just writing their things on their computer and in their room, like, and nobody would listen to it. And I don't know, I just met them through my singer, and I listened to their stuff, and I was like, God, you can't just keep that on your computer. You have to release it, and you have to. I'll help you if you want. I'll produce it. I know I'll help you, but I want that to be released. And so they just said, okay, we need a guitarist, we need a bass player, we need that. So I contacted my guitarist from Ecole to Sincerity, and we decided to just jump in that because we just thought it was worth it, and it could really work well, and we really got along really well with the brothers, so it was just something natural.
And how would you describe the metal scene in France? Because I haven't travelled overseas, but it interests me how things work in the local scenes in different countries. Is it pretty strong?
It's getting pretty big since a few years. I mean, if you would have asked that like 5 years ago, there was just small bands, completely unknown, just local bands. And since then, there has been Betraying the Martyrs, and there has been Chunk No Captain Chunk. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah.
They're pretty big, and I feel like they just paved the way for the French scene. So since then, everybody has been thinking, oh, wow, a French band can make it, so let's just make things professional. Yeah, it's getting a lot more professional, a lot bigger since then, since a few years. So it's starting to be a good scene, but it was not. It was not, definitely not back then.
It's good to hear though, man. Like it's like here on the Gold Coast where I live, man. It's gone through its ups and downs, and I think we're on a bit of an up at the moment. But it's always interesting to hear how things work, because to me, I hear Europe and stuff, like it's massive. Metal's massive over here, but down here it's not as big, which kind of sucks. But we're getting there. we're slowly.
You guys have Parkway Drive and North Lane and Amity Affliction.
We do. That's on the bigger level, but
yeah,
like apart from that, like we've got some good bands, man. Don't get me wrong, but it's more the people coming to shows and stuff. That's the big touring band. And talking about like just the base level, but it's getting there, man. When it comes to your own personal influence as a bass player, who are your guys?
I mean, I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm not the kind of bass player that is looking up for other bass player and things like that. I'm mostly bass player because guitar was too hard for me. So, I mean, my influences, I would say, in the prog scene, I would say Intervals, Pliny, and that kind of bands. But in the bigger picture, I would say Deftones. I don't know if you've heard about the band Paris.
No.
I'm a huge fan of them. You should definitely listen to them, and Beartooth. Yeah, that kind of bands. But I'm not really looking up to bass players.
Just music in general, where you can draw
exactly.
from. Yeah,
I'm more into the production side than the playing side.
Okay, awesome, man. So you're into, like, you engineer yourself?
Yeah. I did the Novelist. I produced the Novelist record with my drummer. My drummer recorded it, and I mixed and mastered it.
Kick ass, man. Because it sounds huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Dude. It sounds like full pro level, like it was done in a big studio and stuff.
Well, that's more my stuff than playing music, I'd say.
Oh man, I might have to hit you up. Do some work. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, being on the road, man, have you met any of your own heroes?
No, I mean, we haven't been on the road a lot for now. We did one big tour, which was with Ida Breather in Europe. I wouldn't say hero, but we met some amazing friends, and I'm really glad that we're gonna see them in a month in the USA. Yeah, I mean that's the biggest meeting we've done on tour. Like we've been in a van with them for 3 weeks, and sharing a van, you have to know people and to get to know people. And we weren't really friends at the beginning, but then I don't know, it's just become really really good. And when we left, it was really heartbreaking to know that we didn't have a lot of chance to tour again together. So when they asked us to go to the USA in 2 months, we were really really stoked to do that with them.
That's awesome, man. What band was that again? Sorry.
I the Breather.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Awesome.
It's a Sumerian Records band.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, it sounds like, man, it's going to be a really big, especially next year, it's going to be a really big year for you guys. So, in saying that, I really hope we get to see you guys down here. Is that something that you guys are planning?
Well, that's something that we want to do, but I mean, you don't go to Australia as easily as you go to Germany or Italy. So that's definitely something that we want to do, but it's not planned yet. But I mean, we're going to every market, so I guess we're gonna have to come in Australia, and we want to come in Australia. So I guess it's gonna be done in a year, I'd say, or so.
That's awesome, man. Have you been here yourself, personally?
I've been here, like I was going to New Zealand, so I just my plane came to Sydney, but I didn't go out of the airport, so I can't really say I've been here.
Oh, right. So it was like a quick visit, at least. But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome, man. That's cool, man. Well, we're gonna go to the track 20 Years from your demo EP now. Thanks for chatting with us tonight, man, and really hope to see you guys in the near future.
Well, thank you for having me.